this SKT this year, because of course we did see a slump from SKT coming into Season 4, and obviously they didn't make the World Championship, but you're balancing that against an All-Stars win, a World Championship, and a perfect, just a perfect season.
Perfect season, yeah.
Champions. They didn't even lose a game for an entire season, including the playoffs, absolutely everything. So
yeah, I mean, last year was great for SK Telecom as well. Obviously, the World Championship win. They also total of 6-0'd both finals. If you look at spring and summer in Korea.
I mean, if you look at the Season 3 team, literally Najin were the only team to remotely challenge them in the semi-finals. Outside of that, they just breezed through that World Championships at the Staples Center, where it will be returning to this year. So I'm interested to see the contrast between the two. But as it stands, Bjergsen just having a little peek around. Had the better of Faker early on in that little exchange, but you know, obviously the burst damage, you would expect that early on LeBlanc. He's going to be looking to try and make those plays. Faker just waiting to sit and farm, and you can see between them very much even. So far, Svenskeren not being aggressive in lane, not trying to set up. So Horns has been left alone against Duke. Is this the best way to go about it? Because Trundle's surely just going to slowly outpower him.
That's the big concern here, right? Is that in any kind of team fight situation in a late game, SK Telecom should have a huge advantage. There are only 2 damage dealers on TSM, and their tank isn't going to be worth anything after he gets Trundle ulted. He will be absolutely destroyed by Corki and Lucian. And that means they also don't have an answer to the split pushing threat of Duke either, and that's what we were talking about in this draft. I think the early Ezreal was really the mistake here.
Here we go. Blank coming in for a gank up in top lane, gets ulted immediately as Hanser tries to make his way out. Nice grab onto the wall. There's the flash, but a flash and an auto from Duke in return will grab SK Telecom first blood.
Pretty simple gank there. Hanser pushed up, and just a lane gank there from Blanket. You have to be very worried about that. The spear did miss as a result of the Trundle pillar coming in, but you're not going to be able to back out very easily on a Nautilus out of that situation. And they had the river warded up, didn't expect Blank to come right through by the top tier 1 turret.
Yeah, I mean, Hanser did everything he could to get away, but just couldn't quite make it.
That was such a simple gang. It was just a straight up lane gang. There was nothing like brutal, nothing like clever about it. They just got simply caught. That's something you've got to be careful about, especially against a team like SKT, because they won't make those mistakes very often.
Faker, come get your blue buff. Come on, man.
Just eventually.
Come on.
Blank's like, come on.
There you go.
There we go. Does manage to get himself in there early. So, okay, Svenskeren, what are you going to do? Are you going to help out your bottom lane? Are you going to camp out, get double lift going maybe? Because the top lane may well be slipping away from you. You're going to lose that red buff again. It's not spawned yet. A little mistiming from Blank.
Yeah, this is where things are going to start to potentially snowball. So Duke goes back, gets the team out. Remember, he doesn't have to use TP to get back into lane, simply walks up. He will be able now to push this lane very aggressively into the tier 1. And as soon as Faker goes back and get the package, there's a possibility we could see a pretty big dive on the bottom side while they have the TP edge. They've got a lot of options in terms of how they make these plays. If Duke is doing well on the top side, they also just simply don't have to use it and let him slowly just whittle down this tower and take a global gold advantage that way. So really the ball in SK Telecom's court now after that gank. The 2 summoners pretty crucial for how this matchup could play out in just a few minutes. Looks like we're going to see the first recalls of the game here for the bottom lane. Yellow Star sticking around.
Yep. Manamune picked up by double lift. Gonna keep stacking that tier 2 shot. Barrage comes through, prevents the recall from Bang. Yeah, that's good, man. I mean, that's gonna give the TSM bot lane a little bit more time to kind of farm safely without really having to worry about anything.
And what it's going to do is it's going to allow them to push the wave up, which is going to stall out any possible teleport ganks that are coming through. Faker now looking for an angle here on the top side.
Package incoming. Pink Ward spots him, though. That may well cancel the gank. You can see Svenskeren is nearby. Is he going to continue red buff? Bjergsen going looking. He's going to get spotted out by that Pink Ward and doesn't fancy a one-on-one with Faker down the river just yet.
No, you want to stay away from that Corki while he still has the package up. I also don't know where Blank is. Blank is not going to be seen as the till now.
There's the package. Scaring Bjergsen away for the moment anyway. Just trying something a little bit there, but Bjergsen obviously very ready for that one. And I gotta say, one thing that Bengi always did well, as we see Blank come in here, not quite able to claim that red buff, but one thing that Bengi always did well was get Vision in to keep Faker safe. Let him be aggressive in lane. And we're seeing that from Blank. I mean, I feel like this is one of the major steps in making Blank work as a jungler for SK Telecom.
I feel like we're slowly watching a bit of a Rocky montage for Blank. This is his training.
That's right.
So we're going to see how he turns up when he gets back to OGN. So
Pretty much.
Can he deliver it in the LCK? It's going to be the ultimate test. I'll keep my eyes on that one when you guys get back to Korea. But as it is at the moment, it is very much slow, standard lanes. This is an interesting thing in itself because we've seen so much lane swapping over the last sort of months or two in every league, in fact. Well, maybe not the Chinese league, but almost every league.
Yeah, and we've seen it really dominate this tournament so far too, just because you can dodge a lot of these unfavorable matchups. But Doublelift and Yellowstar are doing well. I mean, they're keeping up in terms of farm with Bang and Wolf.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been any, he's going to be able to stack his tier very nicely. There hasn't been a lot of chip damage dealt to the turret. Big advantage here has been in terms of what Blank has been able to do in the enemy jungle when it comes to just slowly getting a slight farm lead in that jungle position. But otherwise, it's just all scaling here. And TSM, they may like that with Ezreal, but without this LeBlanc getting kills, thing is LeBlanc.
Hello, wow. Blank goes deep, gets pushed right to Bjergsen. Blank might be in trouble here. Bjergsen comes in, gets the kill. Faker on his own. Can he trade? Gets Svenskeren. Now, can he get away? I don't know. That's a lot of damage. Doesn't dodge into the bush in time. And Bjergsen with the double kill. Error from Blank, and that costs SKT.
Yeah, he was trying to get in there and ward, but that is exactly what TSM needs to get into this game because Bjergsen has to get fed to have an effect. LeBlanc is a champion that does well when ahead.
Oh.
If you're even or behind, she just doesn't do a whole lot. She doesn't have the items to make that big impact in the late game.
Yeah.
Looked like Yellowstar wanted a little cuddle with Wolf there.
Support buddies.
They kind of followed themselves all the way down the river and just carried on around the tribe. Is he going to carry on going here? But he has to check this fight out.
Yeah, I mean, Blank
Way
here,
too far up.
Yeah, he's trying to play around with this pink ward, and that's just not going to work at this point in time. You have to be very scared of the damage coming out of LeBlanc. And Faker's there, but even though they get there faster.
Yeah, on to Doublelift, arcane shift away. We'll see if he can make it out. He's got his flash, he's got his summoner heal. There's the exhaust, use the Q misses. Bramalt connects, and there's a kill for Blank. Yellowstar still in the mix. Blank taking a bit of damage from the turret, but they're just gonna back off and leave the battle cow to it. So SKT responding, grabbing a kill for themselves.
Yeah, it looks like Doublelift just stuck around way too long down that bottom.
Also, both members of the top lane are dead for some reason.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, we'll have to get a replay of what happened there, too.
Hanser clearly died first, judging by the death timers. Don't exactly know what happened there. Well,
Yeah, I guess so.
right.
So here's what happened. Duke all-in'd him, and then he killed him, and then Svenskeren came and killed him in the top lane.
Seems logical.
No replay needed.
Sherlock Christo. Elementary.
but of course, that pressure down this bottom lane does give first dragon of the game across to SKT. Did a very early dragon the other day, 6 minutes. They went for that dragon. It's seemingly back on their priority list. I mean, I guess if everybody else is leaving it, why not? Hello.
Faker for the
Go
wall.
back on Faker, fancied a bit, and he tries to go for a bit more one-on-one. We'll get a little bit of help. Haunter comes in, and they do give the kill to Haunter. A 4-man indeed, and that could give them the mid turret.
Yeah, very good collapse right there. SK Telecom not in position to deal with that. Duke had his TP available, but Haunter simply roams into the mid lane. They're going to pick up the objective, and for the first time in this game, TSM's going to have a gold lead.
It's interesting to see because, again, you know, I mean, this is what we see back in Korea. We see SK Telecom behind at 15 minutes all the time. Let's see what happened in the top lane. And I think it's going to be pretty much what Monte Cristo said. There's Yall-In, there's Hanser dying, and what do you know? Svenskeren shows up, and Duke's not going to be able to get away from that one.
Pesky Lee Sin just beating on your back there. But
just kicking you to death in the butt.
It definitely took him a while, but there we go. Get there in the end. And speaking of which, Bang and Wolf back down this bottom lane. Now, we were talking about this earlier. Doublelift has actually done all right in this lane. Now, this has worked out pretty well for TSM so far on this Ezreal. He's just slowly stacking that man immune. Going to get it built up. And good old Blue Ez is going to get a bit of free time that he needs to get going. For Bjergsen and Faker trading quite a lot in the mid lane. We haven't got the sound back on from the game yet, or it is, but it's just incredibly quiet.
Might just be for us, too.
Maybe.
Who knows? Duke gets that pink ward up in Tri-Brush. And so he'll have a little bit less vision to worry about for the enemy team. That's my analysis.
That's very true.
Thank you.
I'm curious what Duke's going to do here. If he's going to go for the Titanic Hydra Iceborne build, seeming to stack up a little bit. Faker actually going to take a turret shot there, and he's going to have to back off. But look at the pressure that he's putting on. There's a ward behind him that Hanser could theoretically teleport to right now if they wanted to make that play. But it would also mean losing that top tier 1. So they don't want to commit to a kill when they're not actually going to get an objective. And I think that's definitely a solid call here. They're not getting itchy trigger fingers to try and continue to kill Faker in this mid lane. And instead, just trying to play defense. But this...
It's got the package.
Yeah, this mid and top tower is just slowly getting chunked out for TSM, and they have to have some sort of response to what Faker is doing here in the mid lane, whether it's Svenskeren trying to get an angle on him just to get the kill with the gank without overcommitting. Duke falls back from the top lane, takes out that pink ward, and that's going to mean that Bjergsen's going to feel even less safe pushing forward. Bang just winning these trades very handily on the bottom side.
Yeah, man, and Bang's solution is really the stuff of legends in a lot of the games we've seen from him over the years. And you got to be worried. I mean, late game, Bang has really hard to carry potential on this champion. Faker, a little bit of trouble, uses the package to escape, just wanted to take out that ward. But he needs to be careful. Bjergsen's got a lot of damage.
Had to use that package to escape, though. I mean,
Uh-oh.
Oh, hello.
Bug splat! Oh, no. Bug splat! There it is!
It strikes. It struck us all.
Before anybody freaks out, this is a spectator client error. It doesn't actually affect the game, guys.
Yeah, the players are still in it. They're still just fine. Don't worry.
Reconnect, and it's all...
We're getting back in there.
We all got it. We all got it. So
we did. I'm glad we all got to share this moment together. It's a beautiful thing, you know.
But you can see decent communication, it would appear, across the board with TSM.
Players don't even notice. They don't care about how we feel about that bug splat.
Well, just to keep you guys updated, we're back at the game now. And everything, no one's died, nothing has really happened.
Everything is fine.
Nothing is broken.
That's right. The system is not down. Well,
it was for a little bit.
It was for a moment.
The system is
back up again. Yeah.
We rebooted it.
We'll get back in the game in just a second, guys.
Yeah, Blanket and Faker do take out the mid turret now, so they do even up in terms of turret score. SK Telecom still with a slight lead.
All right. Hey, and there goes mid lane turret just in time to see Faker reaping the benefits of all that pressure throughout the game. Died a couple times for it, but paid off in the end. Shot Barrage does not prevent the recall this time around.
Yeah, really good roam from Hanser, though, in that mid lane to take out Faker and take out the mid lane turret. That opened up a lot of options for TSM, but they're still trying to play a very defensive game here. I guess TSM's game plan is it's just rely on double lift in the late game. They have the necessary kills on Bjergsen. He will be a threat, and there are just so many members of SK Telecom for him to target. Blank, Faker, and Bang all going to be quite squishy, and Bjergsen certainly carried some games here in the earlier days of this tournament on this LeBlanc. He's an excellent LeBlanc player, so he's got to make these picks and then have double lift clean up the fight. 2 items already for this blue Ezreal, so he's doing quite well.
That's the idea.
1 minute till the Dragon. You can see the team starting to size themselves up, go for a little bit of control, looking towards the red buff area. We do see Blankies trying to come around. We do have Bjergsen, Svenskeren. Looks like they're going to get a 4 stack for this bottom turret, so they want to try and get a little bit of turret control, start to bully them away. As I said, 40 seconds on that Dragon. If they can get control, don't forget that mid turrets are both down for both teams. Wards all being placed around the jungle. So TSM have some pretty good vision around here at the moment. Yeah, SKT just having to react to it.
Really methodical pressure and shot calling. We talked about in the LCS, when TSM arrived, that they just looked lost a lot of the time when it came to their shot calling. But this time, they know where their advantage is, they know how the pressure's going, and they fade into the bottom side jungle, get the deep wards in, take out the turret. But here's the big issue. Duke, against this Nautilus, he wins the split push. He will also do so much damage in the team fight, and he's already ahead. So what is TSM's plan here? Because they can't really group as 5. The only thing they can do basically is get picks on LeBlanc, or with LeBlanc rather, at this point in time. But if SK Telecom can stay grouped up and prevent that from happening, prevent themselves from getting caught out by this LeBlanc, I think they're going to be in a really good position in either team fights or the split push scenario as this game goes on.
Question is
just backed. He's ready to teleport in if he's required for this fight. You can see the Dragon getting started off, but SK Telecom, there's the teleport coming in. They're going to go for it. Svenskeren goes in, but he doesn't win the smite fight. Gets around the side. Wolf getting focused on by Bjergsen. Won't get caught out. Not a lot of damage coming out from TSM. They're forcing SK Telecom slowly back. Faker trying to get around on side, but they're still pushing on double lift.
Yeah, that's right. Double F trying to escape out of this one. He was safe early on, but he couldn't quite stick with it. Faker somehow made it out of that 1v4, and SKT's like, yeah, we'd rather have the blue buff. We got what we came for.
Faker just took Bjergsen out of that fight in the backside, just got straight in his face, dealt the necessary damage so that Bjergsen was never even a threat. He's the Fed member. He's the one who had to do the damage. Otherwise, you're looking at a still 20-minute blue build Ezreal here, who's just not going to do a whole hell of a lot right now. So SK Telecom plays the team fight. They take the dragon. They take the blue buff. They're going to take this mid tier 2.
Bjergsen coming in to try to get some damage done on the blank, but narrowly escapes with his life. SKT gets that turret, and actually another one going down in bot lane too. SK Telecom suddenly jumping up to a 4,000 gold lead just in the space of like 30 seconds or something.
You can't fight that if you're TSM. You're already losing the Trundle into Nautilus matchup. Your only hope is to get a pick and to fight late game with this Ezreal. So they go for it right here as we're starting to see in this replay. And watch, Bjergsen comes in, but he chunks out Wolf. Now Faker's just going to valve forward, and Bjergsen is going to get stunned if he stands next to Faker with those auto attacks. So he can no longer be a factor. He's the one with the kills in this game, and Double Lift, the rest of the team tries to go up to deal with Faker, but they can't do very much at all. That's just poor team fight positioning from TSM coming into that on top of a poor decision to even team fight in the first place.
Yeah, very true. And I mean, we're already seeing that Trundle's starting to do a decent amount of damage if you can get in onto the squishy members of TSM. That's getting scarier and scarier.
Yeah, Spirit Visage finished now, and
yeah,
he's working his way up. It's like we are going to see a little bit of trading here in the river.
I gotta say the bot lane skin synergy for TSM is lacking a little bit. I mean, we could have Striker Ezreal right there.
I know, the football symmetry could be on point. Well, Bang certainly is. There's going to be a pulverize on towards him. Wolf gets in front, blocks it nicely, and now Yellowstar having to use that ultimate. There's the package delivery, and Double Lift just gets dropped by Faker. Perfect timing. And I was just about to say before all that happens, TSM don't seem to have read what's just happened in the last 30, 40 seconds there. They can't be pushing that mid lane. They were trying to get mid lane dominance again. It's like, you've lost this balance. You're not in the lead in this game. Back away. And SKT just came up and stomped their authority across Double F's face.
They also knew that the package had been picked up. It's not like there isn't some sort of global audio cue about that particular event happening in the game. And so when you're trying to play aggressively or try and create that pick, as we saw Yellowstar go in right there, you have to expect that Faker is going to be there instantaneously, and they are punished for it.
Yeah, taking some damage on that inhibitor turret even. Let's watch a replay of that fight.
I mean, they see Faker here before they even go in. Never mind that.
Yeah.
And catch the beginning of that fight. So they try and go in. Wolf is going to take out a lot of that damage. They're thinking, okay, but it's a 4v4, and I mean, Bjergsen is really the only person who can actually do anything. So it's an easy pick once that he just walks up towards the Raptor pit.
Yellowstar gonna go aggressive on Wolf here, and that's not the person you're looking for, especially when Duke is coming around the back. He's gonna collect on towards it. Bjergsen tries to go aggressive. That's gonna be on Bang, but manages to miss it. Doesn't quite catch the lead, and now he's committed. He's gonna have to kind of dive for this one. Bang may well get in the push, but Bjergsen catches him. But is he going to get out alive? Double F's gonna join his fight. He's coming in from just above.
Yeah, that's right. Bjergsen dodging into the Raptor pit, dodges the, well, he doesn't have to dodge that. That's his own team's true shot barrage. Meanwhile, the duel's still happening in the mid lane, Blank backing away. Yeah, Duke scares Bjergsen off, but yeah, that Bjergsen LeBlanc is doing a lot of damage. Bang just had no hope of getting out there.
Yeah, and he forced a flash too, so it gets even better. And that's what they have to do. Bjergsen has to find these kills right now. They have to slow SK Telecom down somehow. Unfortunately, this starts with an engage on the side, and Blank, Duke, and Wolf are able to grab 2 kills before this thing really even gets going. So still an unfavorable trade. Faker is not anywhere close to that. I think he just figured Bang would be okay. If he had actually run through the jungle right there, they may have been able to turn that onto Bjergsen. So Faker, more concerned with pushing the lane. That's definitely a mistake on his behalf. I think perhaps Bang got a little bit overconfident in what he was going to be able to do in that fight. As a result, he's starting to pick up the Null Magic Mantle, getting some MR at this stage. But the QSS, the Mob Malmortius, could definitely be coming in on a lot of these champions.
This is something we were talking about while we were watching the game that TSM had against Chaogu Reapers. Like the aggression that Chaogu were trying to pile on him. It's like, and you were saying, it's like, well, it's good to see SKT can still respond to this, because obviously things have slowed down in Korea, definitely a much slower game, but you know, when the chaos gets thrown at them, they certainly are able to step up their game. And it seems that's what TSM's trying to do. Like you said, they just need to fight. They need to try and find some picks to get themselves back in this game. And, well, maybe that was one of those moments where SKT were just slightly caught off guard by the damage that Bjergsen can offer. But this is absolutely going to go SKT's favor unless TSM could try and turn things around. Yellowstar having to pop that ultimate very early on in this fight.
That's right, Yellowstar already really low here. Bjergsen coming in from the side, but he's lost a lot of health too. Blank diving in, Duke in the back lines. He's so hard to kill right now. Knockup comes in onto some of the SKT members. Bjergsen lurking, looking for that kill onto Bang. Comes in, doesn't quite get it though. Kills already onto Hanser as Svenskeren goes on the run. Bramalt used just to secure that one. And SK Telecom going to exit that fight with 2 kills, no deaths. And I feel like this is such a typical SK Telecom game, right? Early game, first 15 minutes, doesn't really matter. They'll go behind a little bit in gold, but then they turn it on at like 20 minutes and it's hard to stop them. They're going for the Baron.
Yeah, and they have every option to do this right now. Even though LeBlanc is still up, they have to be careful about that. But LeBlanc probably isn't even going to get there before this Baron dies, or it will be at the very least extremely close. Nope. Clean Baron take. TSM just not able to arrive at time, and Bjergsen goes in.
It doesn't find the damage, though, and now TSM on the run. Bjergsen waiting for those spell cooldowns. Duke over the wall onto Doublelift yet again. Might be able to get him. There's the Summoner heal, and Faker with the rocket from the side. Bjergsen on the run now. Doesn't want to fight SK Telecom 1v5. More damage comes in. There's the passive proc. Bjergsen trying to get away. The clone leads him on a merry chase. Wow.
Yeah,
good escape from Bjergsen.
Yeah, very good, but it's just not going to be enough. This is going to be an inhibitor going down straight after that Baron, able to drive that advantage straight down the mid lane. And that team fight that we saw starting off there, a couple of mechanical misplays from TSM, especially Yellowstar. He actually hit his ult early before the Braum stun even procced. So they were able to catch up to quite a few members, and now that the Aegis of the Legion is done and we're starting to see more magic resist stack up onto SK Telecom, it's harder and harder for Bjergsen to take these kills. So Bjergsen actually did use his ultimate there previously. They see that. That's what causes this engage, is Bang puts the culling down as soon as Bjergsen mimics his distortion. So they know that part of his damage is gone. This is going to be the time to fight. And Duke is just absolutely unkillable in this situation. He is so far ahead in this game. Bang, of course, on the periphery, able to clean this up. He is going to try and get chunked out here, but he dodges out of the way of the W, so it's just a Q that ends up hitting him. And Bjergsen just doesn't have enough damage to go through this entire lineup now that they've gotten a little bit more MR and, of course, the aura item with the Aegis. So after this point, I mean, Yellowstar tries to come around, but it's only him and Doublelift. They burn down the Baron just in time before Bjergsen can actually arrive. Bang here. Do see a distortion, but obviously that damage not doing much. Wolf just going to block the True Shot barrage, and that's pretty much all the damage then done from TSM. And when you run a 2-threat comp like this, this is the kind of stuff that can happen to you.
And that's Yellowstar's ulti used once again pretty early on. Wolf catching on towards him, forcing that stun. Doublelift now has got the damage. The question is, can he get it delivered in the right place? Because SKT with Duke, it's causing a major problem for them. You said it right at the start. He's a 4-1-4. Nobody can deal with him in that lane anymore.
Nobody can kill him, period.
Right.
He's going Bloodthirster. He needs a Blade of the Ruined King to actually kill Duke here. Meanwhile, Bjergsen certainly can't kill Duke because his burst isn't going to be enough. There is no one who can actually finish off this Trundle. He will kill absolutely everybody.
Wow. Doublelift takes the spear, takes a lot of damage from the culling too. Turret goes down. SK Telecom continuing to push up this bot lane now. And yeah, I mean, we saw TSM decide to go with that Nautilus and the top lane after all, and I think this is pretty much the expected result, isn't it?
Yep. You take a look at that draft phase, and you really think that mistakes were made by TSM. We're going to see some action here, though.
Well, because Sven's going to try and go in. He almost picked off Bang there, but that little kick is not going to be enough. You can see the inhibitors fall in. The Nexus turrets will be next, along with the rest of TSM. They're going to catch Svenskeren out the side. He thought he'd managed to single out Bang, but instead it was the other way around. Bang led him into his trap. And the Nexus turrets will fall. SK Telecom will take game 1 over Team Solo Mid.
Typical SKT game, I think, from start to finish as the Nexus falls, and that's game 1 in the books.
And Blank had another strong performance. He started to get that usual Nidalee CS edge.
Yeah.
TSM, they had some moments in the early game. I think they played out that mid gank where they all collapsed especially well, but they just didn't have the tools to deal with SK Telecom's composition. And especially once Duke got ahead early, there was just nothing that was stopping that Trundle.
And the KDA continues for Blank, a 3-1-10 performance involved in 13 of the 15 kills in that game. Definitely a good performance from Blank in this tournament so far. Obviously, question marks on him coming into this, but he hasn't really been tested yet. I mean, he's played COG, Chalgu Reapers, and now TSM, and so far, he's had their wicked way with them.
Yeah, you know, it really makes me wonder if he's able to keep up this level all the way through the tournament. I really wonder how he's going to do once he gets back to Korea.
The
it could be kind of
boost.
Yeah, it could be kind of a new start for this guy. It's really cool to see. So with that, guys, we're going to send it back over to the expert desk and have that game broken down a bit more.
Thank you very much.